I was scrolling through my Instagram stories and then I saw Katy Perry was looking at like my story. And I turned to my husband. I'm like, wait, how did Katy Perry end up here? It wasn't until like a day or two later I found out that her daughter found my jar, and I was really surprised. But at the same time, like, she wrote me this really amazing kind message to me. Because at that time I was also going through some issues, like, in my life. So seeing her message, her kindness to
Mm.
me, it really helped me as well.
Kindness.
Why kindness?
Because it makes a difference.
For connection.
Kindness can change lives.
It's contagious.
The science says you'll be glad you did.
Kindness is the key to a healthier, happier world.
Why kindness? While no one answer is the same, one thing is clear. Kindness is something we all know, but do we know why it matters? I'm your host, Jaclyn Lindsey, co-founder CEO of kindness.org, and you're listening to Why Kindness. Hello, kind makers, and welcome to another episode of the Why Kindness podcast. This is an interview I am so excited about. This is bringing someone full circle. We met Cynthia Yip years and years ago when kindness.org was brand new out in the world, trying to activate kindness and help mobilize people to choose kindness. And Cynthia was one of the first people who joined us in that work. And I am so honored to have her join us today to hear more about how her journey has worked to spread kindness in very creative, beautiful, and unique ways. And with that, I'm going to welcome Cynthia to the show. Hi, Cynthia.
Hey, hi, Jaclyn. Thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast.
Oh, it's an honor. I'm so happy to have you with us today. We like to open every show up with this question, why kindness? What would you say to that?
Yeah, I would say kindness is really important because it really does bridge people together. And no matter if it's someone that's walking down the street, you don't know, just seeing that they need help and being able to offer that kindness, you make a huge difference in that person's life. So that's why kindness matters so much, especially at a time like today, right now. It's really important.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. We first met you, 2016, 2017, right after the
Yeah.
organization
Mhm.
launched. Would you mind sharing a little bit of what you were going through during that time?
Sure. So it was around 2017. That was the year when my mom had passed away. So shortly after she was diagnosed with ALS, she passed away around July. And at that time, I was struggling to cope with the loss, and I just felt like the meaning of my life, it became a blur. Like I wasn't sure where my path was. So I started to seek out talking to people. I was able to find a therapist at work, and she was the one that told me to find something that I could do to keep my mom's memories alive. So I started to look online, and I came across kindness.org. And at that time, I saw a page where you had a bunch of different activities that you could do to bring kindness to the world. And as I was reading through your organization's mission and also all those different activities, I remembered that my mom was someone that was so kind and so nice. Sometimes when I'm with her walking down the street, out of nowhere, I turn around and I don't see her anymore. And that's because she saw someone that was in need on the streets and she went there to help them. And even though she didn't really speak perfect English, she found ways to communicate with those people and help them. So as I thought about those good qualities that my mom had and those good memories I had with my mom, I decided to start finding a project within kindness.org that could really keep her memory alive. And that was writing messages of kindness. So I remember that day when I found this, I was at work. So I looked around my desk, and one of the things that I found was a post-it note and a pen. So I started writing messages on a post-it note. And after work, as I was making my way to the subway station to go back home, I found a place where I could just post it on the wall. And it was a construction site. So after that, I went back home, and at nighttime, I had someone that reached out to me. And that's because I left my Instagram handle on it as well. And this person found a note and she said that she was having a bad time that day. And seeing that message really resonated with her. And because of that, I decided to keep moving forward with writing kindness messages, spreading it to different places that I'm at. And yeah, eventually it became Tiny Jars of Stars.
So beautiful. So many things in there that I want to unpack. We'll definitely come to Tiny Jars of Stars. Before we do get to current day and how this project has taken on such an incredible life, I would love
Mhm.
to learn more about your mom and your journey together. So, was she from here, born here? Like, tell us a little bit of the story of how she came to be here.
Yeah, so she was born in Hong Kong. In her 20s, she decided to move to United States, and that's how she started to build her life here. And
Mm,
growing up, my mom, when she got to United States, she worked as a seamstress. So I
mm,
remember, in elementary school, she'll drop me off of to school, and then I'll see her go off to like the factories to like work, and then after school, she'll come and pick me up. Actually, she had both my brother and me, and my brother is 7 years older than me. She decided that she wanted to become a just like for full time, just take care of both me and my brother. So she just focused on that, and I got to spend a lot more time with her. She would take me to places after school, bring me to different activities, and also with like the stars origami folding. She was the one that taught me all those. She would sit me down during the afternoon, and she'll teach me how to fold different origamis. And folding
mm.
stars was the one thing that I learned and remember. So that's why I continue to follow them as I grew older.
Oh, that's amazing. Where do you think she learned her inherent kindness? You know, the idea of stopping to talk to somebody in need. So you seeing that, the impact it had on you, do you have a sense of where she got that from? Why that was so important to her?
Like I know my mom also went through some struggles in life, and I know through that those experience, she realized that when someone is going through such a challenging time in life, no matter how bad it is, there's always people out there that could be kind and they're nice. And I remember she told me a story back when she was working as a seamstress that she did run into some difficulties at work. And there was this one person that reached out to her and helped her
Mm,
because she wasn't familiar with like the machinery and the work. And that person really sat her down and found time outside of her own busy time to
mhm.
really teach my mom. So just through those experiences, she realized that being kind is really helpful, and there's always nice people out there.
Yeah, I love that. And so kindness, did you feel it was a theme for you and your brother as like childhood, not only that you were watching and witnessing how she showed up with it, but something that you really were understanding, experiencing for yourself as a child growing up?
Yeah, definitely. I see that between both me and my brother. Just acts of kindness. Even when we meet people that might not treat us that nice, but we still give them chances because the way that I see growing up is that no one person can be that bad.
Mm,
That's why I always give chances to really get to know that person. And yeah, just through those.
yeah. I want to be sensitive to the loss of your mom. So, whatever you're comfortable with, are you open to sharing a little bit of the journey of her diagnosis and what it was like walking through that time as she experienced getting ALS and, until her loss?
It was around November, December of 2016. She went off on a trip with my dad back to Hong Kong to visit her family. And at that time, I noticed that her voice sounded a little bit off. It sounded almost as if she had a cold, and her voice sounded stuffy. So I figured, during the trip, she'll take medicine, and after she comes back, she'll be okay. And before she came back home, I called her while she was in Hong Kong. And when she picked up the phone, I realized that her voice sounded worse. So I was a little bit worried, but I still figure maybe it's just a cold that she caught on her trip. So after coming back home, her condition worsened. No matter what medicine we gave her, like Tylenol cold, it just wasn't helping her. So finally, my brother decided to bring her to see a bunch of different doctors to figure out what's going on. And during this time, I was really thankful for my brother because I was also working at the same time at a new job. So, he was able to really find time within his own busy schedule to also help our mother. So after going through multiple doctors, multiple tests, we finally landed at Columbia Hospital, and they were able to diagnose that my mom had ALS. And I still remember that I got this phone call from my brother, and when he told me, I actually wasn't familiar with ALS was. I only remember there's this ice bucket challenge back then to raise money for ALS. So I started to look into what ALS is. And at that time, I still had hopes that, I could do stuff that could help my mom improve. So things like bringing her outside to take walks around the neighborhood, spending time with her, cooking for her, like, getting some like healthy meals in her system. And I strongly believe that all those things I was doing was really helping her.
Hmm.
But little did I know that there's really no cure for ALS. So the doctors did try to give her medication to slow down the progression, but every medication that my mom took, she had a side effect to it. So as a result, she wasn't able to take any of those medication.
Hmm.
And her ALS progressed really fast. So by July of 2017, she was at the hospice already. And that morning, my brother called me and told me that our mom had passed away. And I felt numb. Didn't, I knew it was coming, but I didn't realize it would come so soon. I felt like I was just a walking shell, and I was just doing activities because I know I need to do them, like shower, eat, and all of those. And eventually, I had friends and family that were concerned about me, and they told me I should see a therapist because a therapist could really help me. So that's when I started to look into my work to see if there's any therapist I could talk to, and
Mhm.
from there, I was able to continue to find the hope that I need.
Thank you. I'm so
Mhm.
sorry. I lost my mom this past year in November, and
I'm so sorry.
there's there's nothing like it.
Mhm.
It is a journey that we're all going to go through if we haven't been through it already, and yet
Mhm.
there's no way to really understand it until you're in it.
Mhm.
For me, there was reminders, I think, of the goodness and the kindness and who she was and her spirit, how that shone through. I'm
Mhm.
wondering what that looked like for your mom, this woman who had committed to a life of kindness and goodness and connecting with people in need. Do you have anything that stands out during those final months where you just saw her spirit shine through?
Yeah, so my brother has two younger kids, my niece and my nephew. And I remember at that time, even before when she was sick, she was always really caring and loving, making sure that they're okay. So during the time when she was in the hospital and also at the hospice, my brother will bring his family over to visit my mom. And then even though my mom couldn't move her arms or like anything, and she couldn't speak at that time, she was still raising her arm and just pointing to my niece and nephew. And then she would use her finger to write on my iPhone because at that time I figured like if you can't speak, maybe she could like write out the words. So she
Mhm.
started writing it on the my iPhone, and she was pretty much like saying things like, "Oh, make sure they're okay, they're eating, and like make sure they're warm," those type of things.
Wow. How old are your niece and nephew now?
They are, I feel like I always get the age wrong, such a bad on. I think like 10 and 12. Yes, 10 and
10
12.
and 12. Oh, so
Yeah.
they were very little. They were very
They're very
little.
little. Yeah.
By day, outside of Tiny Jars of Stars, what do you do?
Yeah, so I work as a product designer. So by day, I work full time, and I design like for web and mobile.
Okay.
And aside from that, I also really enjoy illustration and also
Oh,
photography. I would say I pick up photography from my dad. He's a journalist, but he's retired now. And growing
okay.
up, like I always follow him whenever he went out to like take pictures. And I think I pick up the hobby in photography because of him.
That's amazing. Okay. So by day, product designer, by night, storyteller, illustrator,
Yeah.
artist, and spreading kindness.
Yeah.
An amazing vigilante. Okay, and so you start to do this initiative to spread kindness.
Right.
Do you have, anything that during that time where you realize, like, "Oh, this could be something," like, before it became Tiny Jars of Stars, like, where was that moment where you realized, "I want this to become something I'm consistent with," or, that's not just a one-off, but, like, that really is a part and extension of my life and how I'm showing up? Do you remember what that moment was?
Yeah, I think it was really early on when I was writing these messages. So around like 2017, 2018. And even up to today, the way I write these messages is usually based on how I'm feeling. So what I'm
Mm,
going through at that time, or maybe what I'm hearing and seeing that's happening in the world. And I start writing these messages by asking myself the question, what would someone that loves me and cares for me say to me if I'm
yeah.
feeling this down or I'm, in this bad spot of my life? So I start writing those messages as if I'm kind of talking to myself. And as I post these messages outside, I also hear back every now and then from people who find them. And they tell me that these messages really resonated with them, it helped them, and that they were going through such a tough time. And seeing my message really made them realize that they're okay.
Hmm.
And just making that connection, because at the beginning I saw these messages as messages I was writing to myself, but realizing that it also resonated with people out there, because
Hmm.
sometimes you never know what people are going through. They could appear really happy, everything's okay, but there's a different story of their life that you don't see. So being able to see this connection made me realize that this is not just helping me, this is also helping others. And I want to continue this work. And I know if my mom was here, I hope that she'll be proud that I'm continuing to spread kindness like the same way that she's doing.
I believe she is, and I believe she's here supporting you. She's, behind you and cheering you on.
Thank you.
Tell us about Tiny Jars of Stars. So, like, walk us through how you even came up with the name and the premise and how it shows up in the world.
Sure. So, at the beginning, it wasn't really that tiny because the stars I used to fold with my mom were really big. So they were about like, I don't know, like the size of half of my thumb. And I found jars, but those jars were pretty big. And I remember like putting those stars in and leaving those jars outside. And eventually, like my husband was like, "Oh, aren't you afraid that people think you're littering? Like you're just like leaving random jars behind?" I thought to myself, like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe I should make it smaller so that I could also attach a message to it, and
Mm,
people could like easily put it in pockets and like bring it to anywhere that they're going." So I started exploring like tinier papers to fold these stars. And going back to the meaning of like these paper stars, I connects back to those past activities I used to do with my mom during the afternoon, like teaching me how to fold stars. And then once I master folding stars, we used to sit together during the weekend and we'll watch TV
mm,
or we talk and we just like fold these stars together. So I really wanted to share one of my best memories I have with my mom to other people as well. So that's how I started tying these little bottles of stars with
mm.
messages of kindness.
Wow, I love that. And so how many stars are in it? How many can you fit in it?
Yeah, let me see. I'm counting. I have a box here. So there's the 8 different colors within these stars, and
Oh,
I put two each. So two each of the
okay,
colors in these jars
okay,
because I
okay.
see it as like doubling up the luck and doubling up the kindness.
Right, okay, and then how do you decide where they go?
Yeah, so usually it's based on places. It could be places that I used to, go with my mom a lot, or it could be places that I was just there at the moment and I felt
Mm,
like, oh, I think this is a great place for me to leave the message and I leave it there.
okay, and you had a pretty cool experience where someone famous found one of these once?
Yeah.
Tell us
So
about that.
So at that time, I was at Boston for a Comic Con. I actually love attending Comic Cons. So it was after the convention, and me and my husband, we were walking around the Boston Public Garden. So at that time, I thought it was such a perfect place to leave one of my jars here. And then I saw like there's this beautiful bridge at the public garden. So I walked over there, and I decided to just place a jar there. And then that night, I was scrolling through my Instagram stories, and then I saw Katy Perry was looking at like my story. And I turned to my husband. I'm like, wait, how did Katy Perry end up here? Like, I don't know how, but I think it's amazing that she is looking at my story. It wasn't until like a day or two later I found out that her daughter found my jar, and I was really surprised. But at the same time, like, she wrote me this really amazing, kind message to me. Because at that time I was also going through some issues, like, in my life. So seeing her message, her kindness to
Mm.
me, it really helped me as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Are you okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah, I'm okay now.
Okay.
Yeah, I could share. Like, so my job recently was impacted at work because of a company reorganization. So really, at that time, I was going through like all these different emotions of like, self worth and confidence. So it almost seemed as if it came at the right moment, like Katy Perry
Huh.
reaching out to me. I saw that as a sign that, like, I'll be okay, that I have this project that I'm working on called Tiny Jars of Stars. And yeah, like that, even though, like, I have all these changes going on in my life, but there's one thing that is consistent, which is this
Mhm.
project that I'm going to continue to work on no matter what.
Wow, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I
Amazing.
feel like in the darkest moments and the hardest days, kindness can change everything. It's not that it can solve everything, but
Yeah.
it can change your outlook. It can change your feelings, what you're going through. It can make you smile. It's those reminders, we're all
Mhm.
human. We all have a story. We're all going through things we don't always know, but a kind act, it can just be a little switch that can bring goodness into your day, into that moment. And I think
Yeah.
that's the reminder. And so thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um, how many jars are you doing? Like, what's kind of your average week look
Ooh.
like?
I do write these messages about I'm trying to think, like maybe 3 to 4 days a week. Sometimes
Okay.
it could be like 2 to 3 days as well. And I try to do it like 2 jars at a time as well. Because I know
Okay.
I'll be outside, I'll be traveling to different areas. Yeah, so around that amount.
Okay. All right. I love that. If we wanted to do anything with you, do you have a way that people engage or, yeah, like tell us a little bit for anyone listening that wants to be a part of what you're up to? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram account called Tiny Jars of Stars. So you can follow me through that. And I also have a website called tinyjarsofstars.com where I share more about my story, the meaning behind this project. Yeah, I update between both of these places so that you can follow me through there.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. And have you seen people take this up where they live or anyone who's also done their version of Tiny Jars of Stars?
Yeah, I remember when I think a few weeks ago, Upworthy had shared my story. So I had a bunch of people that reached out to me as well. And some people were asking like, oh, I want to fill these stars too. How do I fold
Mm.
them? So within my website, there's this one of the pages, I did create a instruction. I illustrated like, how to fold the stars step by step. So people could go through there and they could like fold their own stars. And yeah, like I just had people like reaching out to me asking me like, how I could start this. So I did share with them like this is where I got my materials and this is the
Mm.
instruction on how to do it.
Amazing. Okay. Well, we'll make sure we check that out. Is there anything else that you would want to share about your journey or story with our audience?
Yeah, I guess like throughout this journey of Tiny Jars of Stars, which started 2017, I I guess I never really imagined how far it could reach out to people and how well, I know it's continuing to grow bigger, but, I feel like at this time right now that I'm at, I feel like it's growing bigger than I had ever imagined.
Huh.
And being able to share my story, being able to share kindness to other people, and also hear their side of the story, I think that's something that's amazing. Like I never imagined being able to make all these connections with different strangers in different parts of the world. And I
Hmm.
definitely hope that as I continue with this project, I'll continue to spread not just within New York City, but also throughout other places in the world. So
Yeah,
that's my goal in the future.
I love it. I mean, the work at kindness.org, we didn't have this term when we started, but we call it being a kind maker. Like it's this active thing that all of us have the ability to choose kindness, to spread kindness, and it's so personal, but it all matters. Like every jar, I truly believe someone's listening and they've found that jar and they're experiencing the full circle moment of it, but you've had an impact on whoever's life has found it. And they may never know you and you might never know the story, but that's the power. It's the ripple. And so to
Mm.
me, you're one of the original kind makers,
Oh,
knowing
thank
that
you.
we met you so long ago. And now just to see how the work has turned into tiny jars of stars, like how it's went from an idea into something now that Katy Perry's finding it or Katie, you know what I mean? Like that's just such an incredible illustration of how far it can go. So I think that's a great reminder.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your work and the way that you're spreading kindness. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm going to reach out to Amelia. Do you remember Amelia when she did the interview
Yes.
for so I'm going to let her know that we met today.
Awesome.
It's just yeah, so honored.
This season of Why Kindness is made possible by the Wasserman Glasser family in loving memory of Sandra K. Wasserman. Sandra believed that kindness could change the world, and she had a remarkable way of making everyone feel seen, valued, and loved. Her signature phrase was simple, yet powerful: "Thank you for your kindness." Her belief in kindness as a force for change is the very heartbeat of this podcast. In her honor, we invite listeners to do the same. Think of someone who has shown you kindness and let them know. A simple thank you can ripple farther than we ever could imagine. From the Wasserman Glasser family, thank you for your kindness. We are honored to carry Sandra's light forward into this season.
Okay, so also in our time, we love to talk about something we've introduced called the KQ. And this is really a really fun way for people to think about their own kindness and how they're showing up. And it's a hook. It's trying to get people to really choose kindness differently. And so, yeah, would love to know if you got a chance to take it, what your score was, if you're comfortable sharing, and then what you thought of the experience of thinking about kindness in this way.
Yeah, I think I took a while ago, so I actually
Yeah,
forgot my score,
that's
but
okay. Yeah.
yeah, I could take it again.
And this is you thinking about what you'd be willing to do for your colleagues. So we'll, yeah,
Mm,
give you a few minutes. And if while you're taking it, you have
uh-huh,
like any thoughts like, well, this is wild. I would never do this. Or, you can talk in real time what's in your mind and we'll see if we want
mhm.
to leave it in as just like funny fodder.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let me
Okay.
take it right now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
I was just gonna say, like, throw a luxurious party for a coworker. I mean, that was funny. Yeah, I would say likely.
I
But
feel like
but
you're
but I also hope that the company would give us some, like, budget for that too.
yes, yes. You can just produce it.
Yeah. Let me see, money and new card to card. Yeah, I would do that. Host a dinner party for coworkers. I would do that, but just that I feel like I'm not that good of a cook, but I'll still host it. Give her a chance to ask questions and clarify things. Very likely, invite coworker to your favorite coffee shop, bar, restaurant. Oh, I would like that. Yeah, someone that loves to drink coffee, I would definitely bring them to my coffee places. Throw an office party to celebrate a complete project. Yeah, I think I like doing that. I used to actually organize my own birthday gatherings. So yeah, that's something that I like
Oh,
to do, like planning parties.
yes.
Let a coworker ahead of the in one. Slightly belly coworker out of jail. Yeah, I'll definitely do that because I hope that if anything like that happens to me, they'll do the same. Collaborate with a coworker on the project, very likely. Yeah, because for my work as a product designer, there's lots of collaboration. So that's something I do all the time.
Yeah, part of your DNA.
Yeah. Have a coworker you don't normally talk to. Be generous with praising a coworker. Yeah, that's one of the things I practice a lot at work. I like to just kind of like give good feedback to my colleagues, like especially if I see them doing amazing things. I'll just like literally like type to them on like Slack and be like, "Hey, amazing work."
That's wonderful
Yeah.
and important. Those things go a
Yeah.
long way.
Mm. Donate your annual bonus to a coworker's favorite charity. Okay, I would say likely for that.
Cynthia.
How like
Gonna
she say
break
everything like
that
likely? Uh, let me see. Offer to take some tasks off of busy coworkers' plate. Yes, that's something I've done. I'm still doing. Yeah, help cover a coworker's work who's on vacation. Yeah, that would say very likely for that. Take a long flight to attend a coworker's wedding. I'll do likely for this. Uh, give a coworker the benefit of the doubt if they seem rude. Yeah, I guess yeah, I would say likely for that. But I'll also try to talk to them and ask them like what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a hard one.
Yeah. Try to accommodate the needs and preferences of a coworker. Yeah, I'll do that. Be open to hearing ideas from a coworker and really listen to them. That's something I practice a lot as well. Give a
Hmm.
gift to a coworker who has helped you a lot. I would say very likely as well. Nominate a coworker for an award or recognition. Yeah, that's something that I also do at work. Um, do you feel happy in general? Hmm, I would say sometimes, given the situation I am in right now,
Yeah.
where I'm kind of like navigating at a weird place. But I would say sometimes, yeah. Stops you from doing more kind acts more often. I think the only thing that really stops me from doing more kind acts more often is if I'm not feeling well.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good one.
yeah. Okay, I submitted it. Okay, you just enter my information to get the results.
Perfect.
I got 108.
Oh my wow. Okay, Cynthia, this is the question. Wait, if you're comfortable sharing, are you
Yeah.
still on the job hunt right now?
Yeah, I'm still on the job hunt right now.
Okay, for everyone listening, Cynthia's an amazing colleague. Everyone wants Cynthia on their team. She's
I'll,
incredible.
I'll
Wow,
give
like
my annual bonus to a charity.
exactly. We'll put her email in the show notes. I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, go follow her on Instagram. Yeah. Wow. You that's amazing. And you can tell truly like who you are and how you show up as a teammate. And I think just thank you. Thank you for doing it in real time.
Yeah,
And the
thank you.
idea it's like getting you to think, how are we showing up? What could we do differently?
Uh,
And then we'll be giving recommendations to help push people a little out of their comfort zone.
mhm,
Once you get over 100, the idea is actually reversing back to self-kindness. So
mhm,
not that the score can change. It's really, even though it's a rigorous personality questionnaire, we're not static in our kindness, right? It changes.
mhm,
How we feel each day changes, how we're showing up each day changes. And so what we're trying to do is get people to just think a little bit about, wow, do I do these things? Could I try these things differently?
mhm,
And when we get really high, it's like, okay, what am I also doing for my own kindness and self-care, and how am I being good to myself? So I think your
mhm.
recommendations would fall somewhere in the be good to Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. That was really cool. We hadn't had anyone do it like that. So thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you too. That was really fun. Yeah, I enjoy the questions. I think it really does help you think how you show up at work. And yeah, I think also to your point that you mentioned just before about also looking into yourself, how to be kind to your own self.
Mhm.
I feel like that's also really important because I like the work that I'm doing, I'm constantly writing like kind messages to people, encouraging them. And when I was in this situation that I am in right now, I didn't realize that I wasn't being kind to myself. I was
Mm.
constantly thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough, because of like XYZ. And I had to really pull myself out of all those feelings to realize like, oh, as kind as I am being to like, in the project that I'm doing, I also need to use what I'm doing on myself as well. I have to also give myself time and room to breathe, just be kind, and also like you mentioned, self-care.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually really wonderful insight. I think it's kindness is a spectrum, and like it's not it's like putting your oxygen mask on first, before
Hmm.
you can help someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we do kind of like round robin of questions. So I'll just like throw a question at you and you just kind of answer first thing that comes to mind. So there's no wrong answers.
Okay.
Define kindness in one word.
Uh, Sharing.
Sharing. I truly, this is our third season. I don't think anyone's ever said the same word. That's what I love about thinking about this is it's so different, but understood by everyone. If you could get everyone around the world to do one kind act, what would it be?
Say nice things to one another.
Mm. If kindness were a song, what song would it be?
Um, oh, my God, I feel like I listen to so many songs. Um, oh my God, am I allowed to look at my phone to find the
Sure,
song?
yeah, definitely.
Uh,
We add it to
mm,
our like Spotify playlist. So
I mean, it's hard for me to pick a song, but I feel like can I say an album? Because it was a soundtrack
sure.
from the latest Superman movie. And
Oh,
I found myself listening to that soundtrack over and over again. It's all like,
mm,
instrumental. And for some reason, like the music made it really helped me, especially during this time.
yeah.
It made me felt a lot better and that like I'll be okay. So I would say like the
Yeah.
Superman soundtrack.
I love that. And that movie had such a good message.
Yeah.
It was so powerful and so obviously like pushing kindness and the goodness of humanity. So I love that. I have
Mhm.
not listened to the soundtrack, so I will go do that. I love, love, love instrumental scores and soundtracks. Okay, cool. What are you reading or listening to on audio right now?
So on audio, let me see. Audio, I'm listening to like a bunch of music. Podcast wise, I do listen to like a variety of stuff. I
Huh?
really like things like learning history. So there's lots of like podcasts that
Oh,
talks about
yeah.
like history of like New York City. I'm also like reading a book about storytelling. So
Hmm.
because of my line of work, storytelling is really important. And also
Hmm.
with my project as well. So this book is basically how to become a better storyteller. And
Oh,
they give
nice.
lots of good examples. So I'm using that as a way to help me as well.
What's the name of that book?
I have it right here. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I'll have to like dig through everything.
No, that's okay.
Oh, it's called How to Tell a Story, The Essential Guide to Memorable Storytelling from the Moth.
Okay, and you like it? You recommend
Yeah,
it?
I recommend
Okay,
it. It's really good.
okay, alright. Who would you wanna say thank you to for their kindness?
Yeah, I want to say, oh, if I have to like pick one person, I want to pick the person, my gym teacher back in elementary school. He was the
Oh.
first person that was really kind to me. So growing up, I don't have any self confidence, and I'm also really quiet, and I don't really speak up much. I remember that one particular day, all of us were called into the auditorium, and this was at my elementary school, PS 124. So as I was walking, I tend to look down on the floor. I don't really look up often. So I just keep on walking and then was on the floor. And suddenly out of nowhere, I see a hand waving in front of my face. And I looked up and it was my gym teacher. And I still remember what he said to me. He's like, when you walk, never look down on the floor. Just look up straight front and see where
Mm,
you're walking. Be confident. Be yourself. Like don't be afraid of being who you are.
hmm.
And yeah, up to today, it still resonated with me.
Wow, that's amazing. I have goosebumps. I love that. Are there any final things that you would want to say? A message you'd wanna give to anyone or to everyone?
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that I know right now we're living in such weird times, and not just like my own life, but just in the world together. And I would
Mhm,
say that like, continue to be kind, continue to find different ways of connecting with different people, offering help, being respectful, and offering even like, chances to listen to their
mhm,
story and like just be kind. Because the most important thing I see in the world we live in today is being kind to one another and being able to just be there for each other. And one thing I do want to add, if that's okay, is that there's also a part of my mom's journey that's also being shared on my brother's side. So he wrote a book called Dragon of Concrete Jungle, and that book you can find on Amazon. So that book he also wrote similar things that I wrote about my mom, and you can also learn more about my mom's journey from there.
Oh, amazing. Okay, thank you. We'll make sure we add that as well.
Thank you.
Last but 100% not least, we end on action. This show is made possible by the incredible Wasserman Glasser family. And Sandy Wasserman was a woman who spread kindness every day. She would always say thank you for your kindness as a sentiment to remind people that she's grateful for their kindness. So we like our guests to end on action. Maybe not the gym teacher. I don't know if you're still connected to him, but who is someone that we can call, leave a message, send a text to, that we can thank for their kindness in your life?
Ooh. Once again, I feel like there's so many people that comes to mind. Uh, yeah, I want to say, yeah, I would say like I have two, like my brother and one of my other best friend that I see as my sister. Like both of them, yeah, I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And they've been
Oh,
through like all the like hardest times of my life to the greatest time of my life.
I love that. Do you want to try to give one of them a call?
Yeah, yeah, let me do that.
Okay.
Um, let's see. Hopefully, like, yeah, one of my brother is
Okay.
not busy. Okay, I found it. I shall put on speaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, hey, Jeffrey.
hey, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Cynthia.
Yeah, it's also my birthday today. I'm on the podcast right now.
Cynthia, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
I can't.
Yeah, so I'm on the podcast and I'm also doing a call to you as part of the podcast. So you're on speaker.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Oh, let me put you on the thing. Hold on 1 second, okay? Uh, okay, here. Can you hear?
I can hear.
Okay.
Hi. Welcome to the Why Kindness podcast.
Hi, thank you so much.
Okay, Cynthia has a message for you.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff. So I just want to thank you for always being there for me, especially through like the hardest times that we both been through, and also at a time like right now that I'm going through as well. So I just want to like thank you for like being such an amazing brother and also a best friend. So thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Um,
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, thank you for your kindness.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Bye.
okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Cynthia, happy birthday. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this. Okay. Okay. Why Kindness is made possible by the Wasserman Glasser family in loving memory of kindmaker Sandra K. Wasserman. More information on our guest and topics from this episode are available in the show notes. We hope you enjoyed this conversation and would love to hear what you think. Please leave a review wherever you listen and join us on social media and at kindness.org to learn more about how you can be a kind maker. We will continue exploring this question, why kindness, throughout the season. So stay tuned, friend, and thank you for your kindness.